Ladies and gentlemen, for the people that are listening to this stream, if you thought I was a coon before, then this is truly going to push your belief. Here we go. This story comes out of Biloxi, Mississippi. 5, count them, 5 teenagers that you see on my screen are now charged with capital murder in the death of a 16-year-old Biloxi girl by the name of Madison Harris. And yes, you guys heard that right. The black individuals that you see on my screen are all involved in a murder of one person. Okay? Now, if you guys are familiar with my stories, then you know how serious capital murder is. In a lot of states in the United States of America, it leads to 2 ending results. 1, life in prison upon conviction. 2, you could be put to death legally by the state. It's not the same in every state, but I'm just telling you guys it's a very serious charge, and all 5 of them are facing capital murder. Let's take a look. Just before 2 p.m. on Monday, Biloxi police responded to the 2000 block of Rustwood Drive, located off Pops Ferry Road, for a report of a medical emergency. Once they got there, first responders found a teenage female unresponsive from a gunshot wound. She was taken to a local hospital where she died as a result of her injuries. She died in the operating room around 3:30 p.m. because they tried to save her life, and unfortunately she did not survive. An autopsy is expected to be performed Wednesday in Jackson, Mississippi. The 5 juveniles were arrested Monday shortly after the shooting and accused in the death of a young lady. Let me see if I can get her picture up on the screen because there were very few pictures of her out there. But thank you to the family for putting the photo of her out there so we can know exactly who we're talking about. This is part of the family right here, but let me get that picture on the screen of her. This beautiful young lady right here. And I want y'all to look at this. I'm going to take a pause real quick. That is such a bright smile. And if y'all know me, then y'all know that when I see kids, and to me, she's a kid, okay? She's 16 years old. She's like almost my daughter's age. I'm actually old enough to be her father, okay? And when I see that smile, I just see a beautiful soul, right? I mean, there's nothing like when you see a person smile, like it just melts your heart. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know anything really about her, but the family spoke so many awesome things about her. And this is just really a shame. But that's Madison Harris, 16 years old. So let's get back to this rest of the story. I'm going to show you guys something. Y'all see these faces? You want to hear some really disgusting names? If y'all don't know where that came from, that actually came from the basketball announcer in Oklahoma. If y'all didn't catch that video, y'all got to watch that. I'm going to do that later this week. But I'm going to give you guys some actual real disgusting names. Because those names in Oklahoma weren't just disgusting by any means. That guy was just an asshole. He was just a prejudiced, racist asshole. But these names that you see on my screen, they are identified as Yakisha Blackman. Let's go back. Yakisha Blackman, who was 17 years old. Willow O. Blackman, so I'm assuming they're related, 15 years old, right next to her. Jasmine Joy-Sade or Sade Kelly, who's 15 years old, in the middle. Jarvis Jermaine Cook, 17 years old. And the other male is Jaquez Devontae Porter, who is 17 years old. I'm just saying, yes, Yakisha, like the yaki that they put in their hair, the tacky yaki. Let's move on past that. Let's move on. I don't mind people who clown criminals. So I'll tell you guys that. That's why I don't mind people when like, that's a lot of what I do here. And sometimes I'll poke fun at people who have done heinous things. But I don't believe in doing that shit to innocent people. Like I say, those girls in Oklahoma, we're going to come to their defense because we're the AFC. We'll talk about that here. You put a pin in that later in the week. We'll come back to that. Again, let's take a pause for the cause. Click that thumbs up. Share the stream. Let everybody know that we're live, okay? Please click that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody that's already done so. Listen up. Here we go. Police say that the 5 Biloxi teens attempted to use a gun to rob Harris at a home in the 2000 block of Russwood Drive, which is located off Pops Ferry Road. An altercation took place and Harris ended up shot. That's according to the police. Police said that the 5 teenagers went to the victim's home to allegedly rob her and threaten her with a gun. Put a pin in that. We'll return to that. During the fight, the victim was shot, police said, and the suspects fled from the home in different directions. Of course, a fight broke out. Why would anybody just allow somebody to violate them and rob them and steal from them inside of their home? So in my opinion, like if somebody were to break in my house, you goddamn right it's going to be a fight. So and it could have ended a lot worse. And I want you guys to think about this for a second. For the people who get triggered by niggers, I want you to keep this in mind. We would be protesting if the parents had guns inside of that house. And what if they defended this girl? What if the parents killed all 5 of those niggers that you see on my screen? I want y'all to imagine that, because recently we did a story about a black man who had 3 teenagers rob him and he shot and killed all 3 of them when they broke into his house. Y'all remember that story? What if those white people would have caught them, shot them, and killed them? Think about that for a moment. We would be protesting in the street right now. Black Lives Matter would be involved. The NAACP would be involved. All the pro-blacks would be talking about this story if the parents would have killed all 5 of those niggers. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Sorry. I meant they would have been protesting if they would have killed these 5 innocent little black fetuses who wouldn't have stepped on an ant and would give the shirt off their back to a needy friend. My apologies. Using witness statements and other evidence, police were able to determine the sequence of events and locate the 5 suspects. They found all 5 of them. These poor innocent black fetuses. Look at those innocent black fetuses right there. They're so little and so cuddly. They wouldn't hurt anything, right? Let me give a quick shout out to Nakia Butler, who joined the channel membership. I see somebody out there understands the message that we're trying to convey is that we're going to separate ourselves from the trash of our community. Thank you, Nakia Butler, for joining the channel membership for the AFC. Thank you so much. Where we advocate for children first. Thank you for that. These kids fled in multiple directions, leading police to canvass the neighborhood looking for them. Witness statements and evidence found at the scene of the murder led investigators to locate all 5 of them shortly after the shooting and piece together what actually happened to Madison Harris, the young girl that you guys saw on my screen. Okay, now WLOX was there when 2 of the 5 teens were actually captured and they were charged with capital murder when they were arrested. One of them being Yakisha, who you just saw on the screen a little bit ago. Yakisha. Where do you get a name like that from? They already put Yaki in their hair, and then you're gonna, I'm just curious. Maybe that's a common name in the black community that I'm not familiar with. Yakisha? Yak. You put yak in your hair. Yaki, right? Am I wrong? Yaki? Yakisha? They caught Yakisha Blackman and Willow Blackman. It sounds like they're related and they're about 2 years apart. So I'm assuming because most people who have their first kid have their second kid within 24 months, meaning that these 2 are probably related. And they were taken into custody outside of the house. If y'all want to see that video, I'm about to show y'all that video here in a moment. Although Madison did previously attend Biloxi High School, so she was at the high school where they went to, she recently continued her studies through a homeschooling program instead. So what exactly does that mean? That means the parents got her taken out of that school and they homeschooled her. They got her out of that ghetto ass, hood ass school. Now, some people might be wondering, why would Jay call this school hood? just because it's a black school? Why would I call it hood? It's hood school because they are one of the worst achieving schools in the nation based on a state ranking. Out of 50 states, where do y'all think that Mississippi schools rank? I'll give you guys a few moments to answer that question. 1 out of 50. 1 being the best, 50 being the worst. What do you guys think? Where do y'all think Mississippi ranks? And if you think I'm lying, Google search it. Look it up for yourself and you tell me what they rank. According to a report, Mississippi ranks 48 out of all 50 states. They are damn near at the very bottom. They are 48. Thank you. Stram got it. They're number 48 out of 50 states. And y'all can look that up. Adam McCann was a financial writer, and he posted that July 29th of 2019. So that is very, very recent. 1 being the best, 50 being the worst. They are 48 out of 50. So it is a shitty ass school system out there in Biloxi. So let's keep going. The young lady that was victimized, let me see if I can get her face back up on the screen for you guys. Real quick. Damn, I got more pictures of these kids than I do the other one. Hold on. Her right here. Madison Harris also told her grandparents that she wanted to be an astronomer. So they bought her a telescope for Christmas. I want y'all to think about that. That girl right there wanted to be an astronomer, and they actually bought her a telescope. But they would never be able to see where that passion could have taken this girl. And I think that is a tragedy in itself. Now catch this. A $1 million bond was set for all of the suspects. So each one of them got $1 million bond. Do y'all think that sounds about right? Because I do. $1 million bond. All 5 of them have $1 million bond, except for one, Jarvis Cook, who was already out on bond for aggravated assault he is accused of committing in Gulfport last year. Isn't that something? The light-skinned one is the worst one of all of them because he was already committing crimes, and maybe all of them were committing crimes and just didn't get caught. But Jarvis Cook was already on bond for aggravated assault, and he is accused of committing in Gulfport last year. Now, Cook is being held without bond, so he didn't get a bond at all because he was already out on bond. So, of course, they revoked it. And I think it's safe to say that that little nigga is probably violent, okay? Now, this is an ongoing investigation, and anybody with information about this murder is asked to contact Biloxi Police at 228-392-0641. You could also call in anonymous tips at Crime Stoppers or Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers at 877-787-5898. Or you can go online and visit them. I got a lot more to say, but let me go ahead and show you guys the news videos before I say probably the worst part about this video. So I want y'all to stay tuned in, click that thumbs up, let's get it in. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. You said, wow, in their teens. They almost grown. Matter of fact, in some states, they would be considered grown. The age of consent is considered to be grown, whether it be 16, 17, or 18, all right? And I did hear the donations go off. I'm going to read those here in just a second. We got 2 so far. So shout out to Jimmy D and shout out to Mom's Fur Babies, and also shout out to, that is Night Riders. So 3, we got 3. So thank you guys. Click that link in the description box if y'all would. Let's get it in.
We're learning more about the death of 16-year-old Madison Harris, who was fatally shot Monday afternoon. 3 of the people charged with capital murder in that shooting were friends of the victim, according to her family. Harris's family is struggling to cope with the shocking loss of a young life. Family members said Madison loved music, cooking, and her family until recently. She attended Biloxi High School but was being homeschooled. Complicating the family's grief is knowing that Madison knew at least some of her attackers.
They were in our house, I thought, as friends a number of different times, yes. They just lived 2 or 3 houses down and across the street. You know, they were neighbors. She was going to school with them. They lived right down the street.
Police say the 5 suspects went to Harris's house with the intent to rob her when one shot was fired. Harris died later from the gunshot wound. The 5 suspects have been charged with capital murder because the shooting took place while another crime was being.
All right, here's the next video. Again, if you guys are watching, please click that thumbs up. This is footage of them catching them live. So the news was able to show up to the house after this happened. And y'all hear that clicking. Every time it clicks, that means somebody donated. So thank you to the people that do support our platform. Anybody else who wants to do so, just look down there in the description box and support what we do. This is them actually getting arrested live. These is who I believe to be the 2 sisters. I don't know that they're related, but I think they are. Here we go. So there's not much audio here, but I want y'all to watch them arrest these 2, what I believe to be 2 sisters. I think they're related. And I want y'all to look at them. They look really, really typical of young little black girls, but their behavior is god awful. Like, you wouldn't think physically they would be that fucking violent, but they are. And think about that, boy. And these are the type of chicks that a lot of men like myself are procreating with. I can't even lie to y'all. That is so sad. I can guarantee you they got all kinds of boys been trying to get them all kinds of pipe, probably since the time that they hit puberty. And maybe even before that for some of y'all. But they are pretty typical looking with all the weave in the hair. Well, this one don't have any weave in her hair, but the other 2 did. And that is just a goddamn shame that they are that irresponsible, that violent, and deadly. Deadly. 15, 16, and 17 years old. Think about that. Here's the next video. Let's get it.
For you this morning, 5 Biloxi teenagers facing capital murder charges. This according to our affiliate out of Biloxi. They're accused of shooting 16-year-old Madison Harris during an attempt.
Thank you, whoever said that in the chat. I didn't even think about that. They did look calm as shit, didn't they not? They weren't crying. They didn't look sad. They didn't look like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Oh my God, they're going to put me in jail forever. None of that. They look calm as shit. Like, all right, well, take me to jail. I did notice that. So thank you. Where are the parents at? Thank you for, we had somebody in the chat finally ask, where are the parents? Any mothers, any fathers? Think about this. The news station got there before any of the parents. You did not see one parent show up. Not a mother, not a father, not a grandfather, not a step boyfriend. I don't even know if that's a real thing, a step boyfriend. Nothing. No grandma, no next of kin. Nobody showed up. No activists, nobody. Wow.
For you this morning, 5 Biloxi teenagers facing capital murder charges. This according to our affiliate out of Biloxi. They're accused of shooting 16-year-old Madison Harris during an attempted robbery. Harris later died at a hospital. The suspects identified as Shakisha and Willow Blackman, Jasmine Kelly, Jarvis Cook, and Devontae Porter. They are all under the age of 18. Jarvis Cook is being held without bond. The others have bond set at $1 million apiece.
Here's the last video. This one will be quick, and I don't know if y'all can hear this or not, but I'm going to play it. And then coming up, I'm going to give you guys the part where y'all should be here to listen to. The part that is probably going to piss people off is what my thoughts are. We haven't even got to that part yet. Are y'all ready to hear my thoughts? We'll hear it right after this video. Let's get it.
We do have a few individuals in custody, persons of interest, and that we're still investigating.
Have you recovered the weapon?
We do have several pieces of evidence that we have recovered. We do have a few individuals in custody, persons of interest, and that we're still investigating.
Have you recovered the weapon?
We do have several pieces of evidence that we have recovered.
All right, now, what you guys are looking at is y'all are looking at the police going through the house. They're searching, they're doing their investigations, and this is just like an absolute nightmare if you're a parent. You think your kids got friends. Matter of fact, shout out to all the parents out there. And while y'all are here, click that thumbs up. Please click that thumbs up. We only need a couple more thumbs up. I want to get about 500 people here in the building on a regular basis, so just make sure and click that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody that's already done so. So I've already told you guys I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. What do I mean by that? That means I'm going to say some things that maybe you're not used to hearing, but it's the truth. It is an undeniable, indisputable truth. Here it is. These black teens, let me get all of their faces back up on the screen so y'all can see these goofy looking motherfuckers. Let me see if I can get all of them on the screen. Let me see. All these niggas look like goofballs. Look at these people. Look at this. Let's talk about them. 5 black teenagers took one person's life, a white girl. They took her life. So they took one of them, and now the system, the same white people, are going to take 5 of ours. What do y'all think about that? Let's say that again. They took one of theirs, and now they are going to take 5 of ours. Does anybody not see a problem with our behavior? Why do we make such stupid ass choices in life? And think about that. What did they gain from this? What did they steal that was worth 6 people losing their lives? 6 high school kids are going to lose their lives. They might get sentenced to death, but they're definitely going to spend life in prison. And that beautiful little innocent white girl, Madison Harris, is dead over this. And for what? What did they steal? What did she have? They didn't look like they were rich. They didn't look like they were millionaires or billionaires. Tell me, what did they steal from her? Did she look like a dope girl? Was she selling keys on the low? Is there something that I'm missing? One of these ignorant ass bastards are going to have to explain in court, what were you trying to steal? That's the first point. Second point, that family is suffering from believing that not all blacks are like this. I want y'all to put that in a proper perspective when niggas go around talking about, it's not all of us, it's not all, white people do it too. I want you to tell me, when's the last time that 5 white teenagers killed a black woman? When's the last time that happened? 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s maybe? The 20s or the 10s? Or maybe even the 1800s? When's the last time that happened? Matter of fact, when is the last time that 5 white teenagers killed a black man? They were all friends and they all went to school together. When's the last time that happened? Just saying. Because we could definitely point to how many times we do this type of shit. And they get bundles of us. We're going to talk about those bundles, that word, here in a minute anyway. They say that not all black people are like this, 5 of this girl's own friends. That's a very high percentage. She thought that these 5 people were her friends. They went to school together. That's how they were familiar with her. That's how they knew where she lived. And they felt comfortable enough. And keep in mind that most robberies occur, if you're black, then you probably know this. If you've ever had your house kicked in or had your car broken into, it's usually by somebody who you know. Statistics prove that, especially for murders and especially for what we call kickdos and robberies, right? Look it up. Third point. The parents of the white girl said that they referred to them as her friends. On video, that guy said that those people were her friends. And I want y'all to think about how niggas treat their friends. They treat their friends very loosely. And it don't seem like niggas really value friendship. They don't value children. They don't value humanity. They don't value working. There's not a lot that these motherfuckers value at all. And that starts at home. And that's why I say that children have to have their biological mothers and biological fathers in the household. That's why it's more prevalent in the black community, because 80% of us grow up without daddies in the house, in broken homes. We don't see any value in ourselves. And what do? That inside feeling goes out and we project it out on the rest of the world. That's the way it works. That's why the crime rate is so high. Let's keep going. I want you to think about this. Matter of fact, let me go to a better picture. Look at that shit right there. How do these little bitches have heads full of fucking expensive ass weave that costs as much as people's rents do? Y'all heard of people like, what's that little stripper bitch's name? Johnny Blaze. Y'all remember when she told that to Tommy and she said my rent costs more, my weave costs more than your rent? How do these little bitches have enough money to have a head full of expensive weave? They got on the latest Jordans. They got the best cell phones. They got the best iPhones that money can buy. And they still had to steal from people. They got Gucci purses. They got Louis Vuitton. They got Prada. They got all of this bullshit. And they still got to steal. Next point. These women, because it was 3 black women, they were more focused on a come up rather than getting their education. And the reason why I'm putting in this on the black girls is because I expect better out of the people that we claim to be the most educated in the United States of America. You know, it's funny how these terms of endearment that you try to just give every black woman, they'll turn around and bite you in the ass when you don't employ them in real life. So I'm expecting for these black girls to be a hell of a lot smarter than the black boys. We're just going to say those 2 niggas on the right-hand side are stupid as fuck, right? You're most educated. So I expect better out of them. They always try to convince black men to do stupid shit for them. Y'all remember the woman who the man told her on the bus not to yank her kid around by the arm, and she called her thugs up, and as soon as that bus stopped at its very next stop, she got off, and them niggas came at the bus with AK-47s and shot the bus up over the word of a black woman. Keep in mind, they weren't there. They didn't see. They didn't know who, what, when, where, or why. They just heard from a black woman. They were raised only by black women. So the black woman's word is a very powerful thing. It's a double-edged sword. And shout out to all my responsible black women out there. If you're a responsible black woman, please shout yourself out in the chat. We know it's not all of y'all. But y'all know it's too many bad apples in the bunch. And you have to start calling them out. I know my group is not like that. We know that we're better than that. We have to be better than this shit. Here's my next point. They say that I hate my own people. That's what they write in my comment section. In each and every video, there's always some little bitch or some little punk ass dude who's always talking about how I hate myself. I'm a self-hater. I'm a coon. I'm a tap dancer and all of this bullshit. Some of the similar names that they call Tommy, not all of those names, but they do refer to me in a similar fashion. So I do understand what they're trying to do. They're just trying to be disparaging. They're just trying to break me down emotionally. I don't hate my people. Did y'all hear me? I don't hate my people. I don't hate black people as a whole. I hate when my people represent themselves in a bad light. Do you understand the difference? If you understand the difference, please let me know. Who out there understands the difference? I don't hate my people, but I hate when my people represent us in a bad light. I hate when we perpetuate negative stereotypes. We know what stereotypes are, so why do we participate in them if we know that they're bad and they make us look bad? That's a choice. I hate when we give the police and the justice system every right to lock us up and push this school to prison pipeline agenda, because y'all know that's a real thing. There's some things that I agree with pro-blacks and some things I do not agree with. But one thing that you will never get me to disagree with is the fact that they are building more and more private prisons. They're being funded by individual people who are billionaires, and they got the money to just say, yeah, throw up a prison. So it's all about making money. But in order to have those prisons, what do you have to have? Oh, that's right. Criminals. The criminal mindset and being a criminal is a choice. We're choosing to do this to ourselves. Everybody understand? Next point, and we're almost done. Somehow, the mother of all of these kids, and I'm sure there are probably no dads around, mark my word, the mothers of these kids are going to blame this on somebody else. They're always going to say it was somebody else's fault. They're never going to point the finger at their own kid and say, yeah, my kid fucked up. How many of them do you think are going to do that? I say there's not a chance. That's a fact. How is it that none of, can I get that picture back up on the screen? Y'all click that thumbs up while y'all are here. If y'all feel what I'm saying, click that damn thumbs up. Come on now. I got to be preaching to somebody out there. How is it that you have 5 black individuals, 3 of them being the most educated in the United States of America? How is it that none of these 5 thought to say, hey, guys, maybe we shouldn't do this? Let alone do this to one of our friends. Madison is our friend. We shouldn't do this to our friend. Maybe we should rethink this. Maybe whatever Madison has or whatever we think Madison has, it's not worth it. How is it that 5 individual minds all said, fuck that, let's get it cracking? Not one of them said, no, I'm not going to participate. None of them did like Trey did in Boys in the Hood and jumped out of the car. They all went to go commit the murder. Literally, they did. Just like in Boys in the Hood. If y'all haven't seen that movie, pop it in. And matter of fact, I think it was 5 people in the car, was it not? 5 niggas in the car went to go kill some niggas. But in this case, these niggas went and killed their own friend. They befriended this girl and then they betrayed her trust. Here's my last point. And y'all challenge me if I'm wrong. You cannot find 5 black teenagers in the United States of America that you will catch on camera or hear a story about that broke up a fight. You will not find one single story about 5 black people who stopped a fight from happening. But you can find 5 black people to help you rob your friend. Put that into proper perspective. I want you to take all of those things that are based in facts and tell me what I said that was wrong. Don't tell me about how I hate myself. Don't tell me how my mindset is messed up. Don't tell me how the white man is over here paying me and making sure that I'm rich and living lavish, because guess what? I'm not. And I know that there's a lot of people that like being miserable and misery loves company and they want me to not have shit. I get it. I understand. But the truth is the truth. And that's why I believe in standing on the truth, because I believe that's really where we're going to make a difference if we want to get better in the United States of America as a people, as Americans. We're all Americans. I don't really like the terminology of black, white, and all of this stuff because they're just colors. I believe that we're all American and we all should bleed red, white, and blue. How about that? All right? I want to say to that woman, to that young woman, that girl, she was just a girl. She was 16 years old. Let me see if I can get her face back up on this screen. Madison Harris, who shares my last name. That angel deserved better, and she trusted her friends that they would never do some heinous shit like this. She had a lot of promise, and she could have went on to be something great, and unfortunately, her parents and her real friends and the people that loved her would never get an opportunity to see it come into fruition. That's a damn shame. And to those 5 black people that did this, we're just as good in society without them, especially if they're going to be that dumb and make those kind of decisions, okay? But again, to the family, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. And I want to wish an RIP to Madison. To these people right here, you'll have your day in court, and hopefully they'll throw the book at you. You deserve it. This is your boy DJ Just J. As you can see from the shirt, we're the AFC. That means we advocate for children first. From my heart to yours, from my heart to yours, I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening to this stream. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you have not already done so.